25 minutes to the NY Open. Yeah. Okay, let's take a look at the calendar. Nothing. This week, nothing. This is the last week of the month, right? This is the last week of the month. There is a single trading day on Monday, but that doesn't matter because next week, the NFP week, is always the first week of the month, right? In some rare situations, I've seen NFP get pushed to the second week of the month, but that's very, very rare. Um, right now, as we stand, next week is the first week of the month. This is the last week of the month, right? So the markets are slow. Expect the markets to be slow. You might have the odd push, the volatility, if there is news, like we saw over the weekend on Monday, Tuesday. Yesterday there was a reaction to the previous day's news or the weekend's news, and price dropped, I think, about the daily candle 750 pips or almost 800 pips. But apart from that, unless it's some if there is some fundamental news that drives it, other than that, there is no data driven news. So the markets are slow during the last third and fourth week of the month. Okay, almost every month, the last week of the month. Right now, let's take a look at the daily. Having said that, on Friday, we could have some volume because that's the close of the weekly candle. So I am anticipating some volume on Friday. But today and tomorrow, not so much. Sorry, just a second. Okay, so let's look at what has happened on the daily. The daily candle, yesterday's daily candle, what? 730, 740 pips? Yeah. Uh, Big push down on the weekly. We are rejecting this area 3,450. Previous rejection was 3,500 there, and now we've rejected 3,450. We are pushing down. We've come to this area. We've tapped this area. This is a decision level because if you look on the daily, we spoke about this yesterday. We spoke about this week on Monday, Tuesday as well, and even last week. This is a decision level. Why is it a decision level? This drop base rally, this daily supply level, because it's taken out daily demand on the left, right? There is a daily demand level, a high time frame daily demand level here. Price pushed up from here and took that out, took that high out, and also took this high out. This push took that high out as well. So that is a decision level. Now, as we know, with high time frame decision levels, if price starts to range in that level, so let's draw a box there. Okay, so this low is 539, 583, 5. What's this? 360, 583. Okay, and the next level is here. Ah, okay, right. So these are the two decision levels. There's a decision level here. There's a decision level here. Why here? Why here? I've already explained. There's There's daily supply here that price took out. There was a high, there's daily supply here that price took out. This single move up took out that high and that high. Why here? Because there's supply here. Rally, single basin candle. Let me zoom in. Rally, single basin candle, drop. This push up took out that base, that high, right? So these are both decision levels. Now we've come almost through this. We could push straight down and come here, but see what's on the left here. We had a clean move up, we have a clean move down, and then there is a doji here, two dojis here. That is why I'm not expecting a big move today. It's very likely. Again, in trading, there are no certainties. It's a probability game. The probability is higher that that today's daily candle could close a doji, something similar here. And even Thursday and on Friday, we might get a move either down or up, right? Depends on this area if it's going to hold. Now, what I've said with these high time frame decision levels, if price on the 4-hour, if you start seeing price range in that area, now we're coming back, we've had a 1 4-hour candle, 2, 3, right? 3 4-hour candles here pushed up. If we come back and start ranging here, we're very likely going to break this range. We're going to very likely going to break this zone and push down below 3289, right? Probably come to 3265 or somewhere in the middle here and then get a reaction. That's very possible, very possible. But is there volume for that to happen today? I'm not sure because of this. There is no news today, and also there is a doji right here, right? So price most of the time, not all the time, but 70% of the time, 75% of the time, price tends, I would say 70% of the, I wouldn't say anything more than that, about 70% of the time, price tends to mirror what's on the left, right? So we had a clean push up. You can see these two candles push up, these two candles push down. We've come deep into this level. We've broken that low, We've tapped 3,300. We've reacted off it. This candle could close a doji. And even tomorrow's candle could close a doji. We'll have to wait and see, right? So based off, if the candle is, since this is a probability game, let's play the odds. Since this, if this candle could close a doji, what could possibly happen? Price is already at the high of that zone. All right, it could even push a little further high. We're coming down from 3332 already. If you look at the 4-hour time frame, we've tapped in the Asian session, we ranged in the London session, and we pushed down. Sorry, we tapped it in the Asian session. We ranged also in the Asian session, and we pushed down in the London session. Right. So if we have already tapped it, then we could push down and then push back all the way up again if it's going to close the doji. Keep that in mind, right? I'll just repeat it. We've already tapped 3332 in the Asian. We tapped it in the Asian. We ranged in the Asian. We pushed down in the London on the 4 hours, right? That's the 4 hour. If the candle is to close the doji, then we could continue to push down. And once we push down, we push all the way back up again, right? So since we are, since this is a probability game and there are no certainties, that could possibly happen, right? There is no guarantee. You could have a lot of volume coming in. There could be a big news. There could be, something to do with the conflict again between Israel and Iran, and there could be some post. Trump could post something, or there could be something, and then you could have a lot of volume push price up or push price down, right? But if there isn't anything, if there is no news, if there are no there are no news events, there are no posts by Trump or by anybody else, and there's no conflict, then it's very likely we're going to mirror what's here on the left. Okay, let's go to our trading chart. Okay, so here's where we left off. Price did push up yesterday. We came We tried to take buys on this, but price, I had my stop loss, I think, there. Soon as price came here, we closed bearish and started coming down. I closed the trade, right? I didn't hang around until price comes and hits my stop loss. I closed the trade very quickly. Soon as I saw this candle break the low and start to push down, I closed the trade. This is what it looked like on the 15-minute. Yeah, we started to break big bearish candles, a lot of selling volume. This candle broke the low, started to push down, that's it. And then we started breaking this low, I closed the trade. I didn't hold it. Now, we came there, 30-minute support from 3,300. Next candle tapped the area, perfect. Push all the way up. I wasn't at the charts to take that trade. Unfortunate, but because that would have been a perfect trade to take, right? We tapped 30 minutes support formed right at the tap of 3,300, which is the liquidity level. The next candle came in. Not sure how the 15-minute would have looked. Let's take a quick look at this. This candle closed at 1730. That's when this candle opened. If you go to the 1730 is here. This is the candle close. This break the low. This candle is 546. This is 554. Yeah. So this is how you would draw the fib. Yeah, perfect. So when it's like this, price will not tap the optimal. Why? Just before the optimal is your BRN. So it'll tap the liquidity level. Because if BRN was underneath the optimal, then it'll come tap the optimal or the liquid level. But when the liquidity level is just above it, it will not come to the optimal. Perfect tap. Look at that. To the pip and pushed all the way up. What's the next liquidity level? The liquidity candle, 260 pips, about 260 pips, and then the BRN, which is 320 pips, right? I wasn't at the stream to take this trade. Okay. I mean, I wasn't at the charts to take this trade. Okay, let's get rid of all of this. Keep in mind what we spoke about here, right? Keep in mind what could possibly happen. That's the reason I start from the high time frame. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this, get rid of this. Okay, yeah, nothing much, just ranging. After we tapped 3332 Asian session, we just moved sideways. Nothing, no Asian movement, no London movement, nothing. That's the other reason. That's the other reason why I'm not expecting a massive single direction move in the NY session or NYSE session today. There's been no moves in the Asian, there's been no move in the London, there's been no move in pre-NY. So if at all there is a move, there very likely could be a move in the Asian or in the New York session or the New York or the NYSE session, but price could very well retrace back that move very quickly, right? And close the doji. That's very possible. Okay, let's start. Right, so we have supply here form right at the weekly SR level. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Right there. Let's take a look at the 1 hour. We always have to look at the lower time frames when we are at a psychological round number or a weekly SR level. Let's go to the 30-minute as well. I want to find the source of this because I know that this is a reaction, but where is the source? Very likely here. That's the source. Drop, base, drop, right? If you look at the 15-minute, yeah, I don't want to go to the 15-minute, but that's a base in candle right there. That has what, 55 pip wick and about, let's say, 12 pips at the top. So that is what, 67, and how much is the body? 64. So more collective wick than it has body, right? So that's the basin candle. Drop, base, drop on the 30-minute. That's the source of supply at 3332. That's the zone or the supply zone at the weekly SR level. This is the first tap, second tap, third tap, and we're coming down. Let's put the numbers here, 961, 208. Okay. Now, demand. We have a rally, a base, and a rally. Right there. You can see the price is ranging right now. Okay, and this is 281, 569. Let's take a look at that on the 1 hour quickly. Yeah, that's good. Just bring it here. Okay, perfect. Right? See, you can see the price is ranging. Top of the zone, bottom of the zone. Okay. Right. Let's look at here. This area, there is a drop and a rally here. So there is a base there. We have to mark that base. Let's take a look at the 1 hour. Yeah, there we go. That's the base, right? So I'm going to bring this down here and bring this here. In fact, just delete that. Yeah, let's extend this one here. That's better. 464. Okay. Now this M30 supply is H4 supply because we clearly have a rally, a base, and a drop on the 4-hour time frame. Right? Makes sense? Okay. Here, this is a 4-hour zone. Is it? Yeah. This is this rally, base, two basin candles, and a rally. Right? Where is the bottom of that candle? 3289. Yeah. This low. Yeah. Okay. Around that low. That's fine. Okay. Yeah, once price starts to push down, I'm not sure when that's going to happen, maybe tomorrow. But once we start to push, we're going to push through all of this. These are liquidity candles stacked one above the other. We're going to go through all of them. We're going to come down to 3289, even possibly come down to 3265, right? If there is volume. But we're coming down. But there needs to be volume. That's that liquidity candle right there on the 30-minute that we had marked, I think, previously, yesterday or the day before. Price tapped it, it's pushed up. Okay, 239 pips covered, that's okay. Extend this also to the right. Okay. Okay, so we've covered about 320 pips to the upside, about 400 pips to the downside. That's plenty. Plenty. Right. Let's take a look at, we have the supply level here and we have a demand level here, right? The rest are all zones. Let's take a look at these zones. This is a high liquidity zone. We drawn it yesterday. Let's take one more look at that. Yeah, the push down did take out, we did all of this yesterday. I'm just redoing it. This push down took out that low, took out this demand drop base rally here, right? So that's a high liquidity zone. Let's take a look at this the demand level here very quickly. Yeah, 1 second. Has it taken out anything to the left? There is a zone here, there's a zone here. This push up has, so that is a high liquidity zone. Okay, if we're coming down. Now remember, we could come down, we could push all the way back up again. Right, you got to be careful. I'm expecting the candle to close a doji. I'm expecting it to close a doji, the daily candle to close a doji today. But the market can always surprise you. Okay. Yeah, we're bearish on the 1 hour right now. We're pushing down. We created a lower low, a lower high. Yeah, lower low, lower high. Let's see if we can push through this zone. Come down. All right, let's take a look at supply. All right, let's see if we can find a liquidity candle on the left. On the 1 hour time frame, the largest candle would be this. 218 pip candle. Let's start with that. Let's go to the 30-minute. $131 pips. Yeah. Let's go to the 15. $71. 72.5. Let's look at the 5-minute. $69. No, 15-minute is better. $81. 74. Just do the numbers on this. 961, 214. 74. Yeah. I'm going to go with this candle. Covers the entire zone. 961, 214. Let's keep it like that. Okay. What did price do? We tapped it. We tapped it here, London session. We tapped it in the Asian session and London session. We're coming down. All right. Let's take a look at this area very quickly. This is the NY open. Let's see if we push down. 90 pips. 92. $87. Yeah, let's go to the 15. $66. 114. Could be pushing down. 5. Yeah. Let's keep it on the 30-minute. Price is going to come and tap this candle. 042175. Okay, pushing down. Okay, those are the zones. Let's take a look at on the one now. Those are the zones, right? Now, price could push down and push back up. We have a liquidity candle here. Just change this color. Right, we have a liquidity candle here. Price can come, tap this and push back up, or come deeper and then tap this area and push back up. Let's take a look at this area below here. 15-minute, 96 pips, 75. Yeah, that's a liquidity candle right there. Yeah, this one right here. We tapped and pushed up. Let's keep it on the 30-minute. 030885. Okay. Yeah, very likely going to close a doji. There's too much of liquidity levels of price to push through. Probably come to this one, tap it, go back up. Okay. What's this high? 33. Okay. Let's take a look at what price has done in the Asian and London sessions. Nothing much. We're just ranging. There is absolutely nothing happening. For us, we're moving sideways. We're stuck in between this top and bottom. That's the top of the range. This is the bottom of the range. About 100 pip range. Stuck in the middle right now. There's nothing to do here. If price breaks, then we wait for a pullback, 30-minute resistance form, look for a trade to take the sells to come down. That's basically it. That's the only play right now. Because price is right at the EMAs and the EMAs are moving sideways. Okay, doesn't matter. Let's take a look at the Asian Open. That's the market open right here. Opened at 33.24.25, 33.24.25. Nothing happened. See, at the bottom of the range and the top of the range. That's it. We're just bouncing up and down. We came to the bottom, we're bouncing, we're trying to push back up again. Yeah. 431, 525. 718. Yeah, you can see there's nothing happening. Asian session, we moved about 110 pips, and the London session, we retraced that move 150 pips, right? We're just moving sideways. Here, I want to take a look at this though. Yeah, pushing back up from the bottom of the range. Why didn't this tap here? Possibly going to get a tap up here and then push up. Probably come down, tap, push up. All right, anyway, let's take a closer look at what happened. 15-minute candle is about to close in a couple of minutes. The market opened here. There's no volume. Price was pushing up. Second half of NY session, yeah, towards the end of the first half and second half of NY session, we continued to push up. Then we just ranged, right? We started moving sideways. We're just ranging. Then the market opened, and we continued that bullish move. 23332 weekly SR and the liquidity candle formed 30-minute resistance, right? Push down from the liquidity candle. This is a trade, Asian session trade to take. The safest stop loss always above the liquidity candle, as I always say, and that's a trade to take on the pullback. You could have got in here during the London trade, taken the trade to come down. You have to get out at the bottom of the range. There is no holding when you're stuck in a range like this. You're getting, if you're getting at the bottom of the range, you got to get out at the top of the range. If you get in at the top of the range, you have to get out at the bottom of the range, right? So that's the Asian session trade that could have been taken down here. What happened next? We created the Asian low on the way up to 3332, and the liquidity candle formed 30-minute resistance, created the Asian high, dropped back down, pushed back up to 3332 before coming down, went past the Asian high, broke, closed above it, closed back below. That's also perfect London session trade to take as well. Once you close above the Asian high and then immediately close back below. We've seen this trade happen dozens and dozens of times on the streams, right? And I've spoken about it even more. So price closed above the Asian high, closed back below. You can take the sells to come down on the pullback to 3332. When you have a weekly SR level, just like we discussed previously, like here, exactly like here at the beginning of the stream, we spoke about this. Price will not come all the way up to the optimal entry. It doesn't need to, because that's a liquidity level right there. So it'll tap it and then push down, right? You can put your stop loss above the liquidity candle high or just above that candle high and take the sells to come down. Now, we closed below the Asian low. We created the London low and pushed back up, and we've possibly creating 30 minutes support, rejecting the London low. We could be going back up towards this liquidity. That's very possible. Should be going back up here. That's possible. Back up here. Now, question is, do I want to take a trade in a small range like this? That's the question. I rather not. I rather not. it's not, I rather not. If the range was a little larger, maybe 150, 200 pips, yeah. But we are literally here, 80, 90 pips, and price has already moved halfway. Well, there could be a pullback. The pullback can be below this as well to the liquidity candle. Here's what I'm going to do. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to take buys here. Even if 30-minute support forms here, I'm not going to look for pullback and buys here. I'm going to look for a buy below this in the liquidity candle, from this liquidity candle. All right? I'm going to look for buys below the London low to go back up, right? Because my prediction is that the daily candle closes a doji. So if it's going to close a doji, then price will have to, if it pushes down, it's going to push back up again eventually, if it's going to close a doji, right? So I would want to take buys below the London low, right? So wait, if 30-minute support forms here, that's fine. But I will wait for price to push down further, create, once 30 minutes, after the 30-minute support is formed, we break the low, continue down, and then since we've already formed 30-minute support, wait for 15-minute support to form and a 15-minute tradable bull candle to close to take the buys to go back up, right? That's for buys. For sells, we are creating lower highs and lower lows and lower highs. Created a lower low, right? Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, lower low, right? So for sells, I want to see 30-minute resistance is already formed. Yeah, I want to see price pull back, create 15-minute resistance, and then take a trade to come down. But I can't take a trade here. If I take a trade here, there's no space for price to move. There's a liquidity candle 40, 50 pips away. This makes no sense. That is why I don't like trading in this range. So for buys, I'll be looking somewhere down here, 50, 30, if this candle, if we form 30-minute support. If it doesn't, then price needs to pull back, create 30-minute support for me to take a buy to go back up. But if it forms 30-minute support now or in the next candle, then price pulls back, 15-minute support is sufficient. I'll take buys to push up. For sells, I want to see price come up here. There is no space to take a trade. So 40 pips away. There's nothing. You can't do anything with that. I want price to push up. If it does, then we can take a trade from here. Then we have space. 100 pips, 120 pips is fine. Right? That's the plan. We have sideways. There's nothing happening right now. Just moving sideways. It's ugly. Here's what's happening. So this, if we stay below here, what's this opened? 2583. 2583. Say 26. Hmm. 26. If price stays below 3326, very likely we're going to close a bearish daily candle. If we close below 3326, if he stay below, sorry, if he stay below 3326, we're going to very likely close a bearish daily candle. So then price could continue to push down before it pushes up. Yeah. 30-minute resistance formed, closed below 3326. Yeah, I would want, if price breaks this high, 30-minute resistance is already formed inside pre-NY. If price comes and breaks this high, I want to see 15-minute resistance and a 15-minute tradable bear candle to come down. That's what I want to see. This is the London setup, 30-minute resistance, perfect candle to trade. 30-minute resistance. What time did this candle? 10:30, 11. This 11, 15 minutes. This is the close. Yeah. This one broke this high. This one broke this high. Strange. It's okay. 718,999. Yeah, we could have a push up here and a reaction. Sniper level. That I'll be willing to take. That trade I'll be willing to take. This London session, this range here, price hasn't tapped this area. Could come up here again. Possible. Let's see. If we are bearish before price pushes up again, we could be coming down here to these levels from up here. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, above this high. Yeah. Let's see if price can come up here. 283. Mhm. Yeah. Okay. If we come there, might look to take sells if we come here. I'd like to see I'd like to see at least 15-minute resistance form, to be honest. Yeah, I'm not taking, otherwise I'm not taking any sells. And I'm aware that if I wait for candle confirmation, I might miss these entries. That's okay because we're ranging. You can see the EMAs are moving sideways. They're flatlined, completely flatlined. Look at that. That's sideways, that's sideways. We're moving sideways. So 30-minute resistance has formed. Uh, 30-minute support is just about to form. I'm not interested in taking buys here or even on the breakout because there's a liquidity candle just 20 pips away. I'm not even interested in taking buys on the pullback because it's not a lot of space to move. But for sells from here, we'll wait for 15-minute resistance, at least 15-minute resistance, and a tradable 15-minute back candle close to take the sells to come down. It's about a 100 plus pip move down if we continue. Yeah, that's better. That's what I'm waiting for. Created high, 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 low, low, high, high, lower, low, lower, high. Yeah, 15-minute, at least 15-minute resistance, or if not 30-minute resistance and a 30-minute tradable back candle to close. Something like this. Close, then take the sells to come down. 15 minutes also should do. Yeah, 30-minute candle has closed. We've formed support. We're bang in the middle. Still nothing. We're right in the middle of supply and demand. This is the last week of the month. This is expected. Now this happens. There is not much movement unless there's a big news event. Okay, waiting. Let's wait for the 15-minute candle to close first. Right now we're in the middle. I'm going to wait for the 15-minute candle to close. That's another 14 minutes for the candle to close. I'm going to wait for that. And I'll be back in a few minutes as we are waiting. Any questions on the analysis, on what I'm waiting for? the setup that I'm waiting for, you can always post that in the chat and I'll answer. Okay, I'll be back in a few minutes. Nothing's happening. The moving sideways is no volume. It's really ugly. Could have a big push up, come here, grab liquidity, and then push down. That's possible too. How would the daily candle look if it does that? 3350. Yeah, possible. Could come to these wicks. These wicks here, push up and then come down. That's possible. Let's see. Yeah, this candle should close bearish, but price is coming above these highs and below these lows, creating a tighter range right now, a small range within a range. That's a larger range. This is a smaller range, 60 pip, 65 pip range. So price above this is liquidity and below this is liquidity. Above this is 3332. We could come back there. And below this is the liquidity candle. Yeah, let's see. I'm going to see how the next 15-minute candle is going to close. That'll also be the close of 30-minute candle, and then probably if we're still ranging, if we're still here, if the next 30-minute candle also closes in this range here, then I'm going to call it a day. I'm going to end the stream because it's very likely we're not going to have any moves right now. Probably after NYSE, might have some volume coming in. But I'm expecting the candle to close a doji on the daily time frame. Either push up and back down or a push down and back up. Yeah, 50-minute candle is very likely closing bearish. Back towards the bottom of the range. Maybe we're going to break this low, come further down. Possible. We're coming down. We're pushing down. Tapping the liquidity candle. Let's see if we come further down. As I said, if I'm taking buys, I want price to come down, create 30-minute support, tradable 30-minute bull candle close, take the buys to go back up. Because we're in a range right now. So that's the bottom of the range and that's the top of the range. 50-minute candle close. Next one has broken the low. It's a long way. I don't think we're going to come to the right at the bottom of the candle. Maybe we will. I don't know. If there's volume, push all the way down here, another 70 pips. Yeah, I'm preferring sells because we're creating lower lows and lower highs. Unless structure starts to change again. High, 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 low, high, 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 low, high, 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 low, high, high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Price comes above this, then pushes. That'll be nice. If you come above these highs. Let's see. It's going to wait for the 30-minute candle to close and then probably end the stream. If 30-minute resistance forms here, we're very likely going to break the liquidity candle low. We're going to break this liquidity candle, this low, if 30-minute resistance forms here. I'm going to wait for that to form. And then you could look for a pullback and take a trade to come down. But it's better to wait for the candle to break, the liquidity candle for this zone to break, and then a pullback, and then continuation down. But keep in mind, be very conservative with your TP levels. If you get in on sells, be very conservative because price can push all the way back up for the daily candle to close a doji like this. Keep that in mind. So don't try to hold too much of runners. Today may not be the day to do that because there is no news today. I want to see this liquidity candle taken out, this low broken, and then a pullback, and then take the sells to come down. Okay, waiting for the candle to close. 8.5 minutes. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Yeah, nothing's happening right now. We're trying to push back up. Hmm. Came to the bottom of the range, came outside these lows that was expected. We broke below this low. Now we're trying to push back above. It's a range, so this is going to keep happening. Price is going to tap this, go to the top, come to the top, come back down. Unless we break. And honestly, that's the only way I'm going to be interested in taking a trade today. If this liquidity candle breaks, if price pushes down, breaks the liquidity candle, maybe then there are two options. Either you can wait for price to pull back, form resistance, take a sell to come down, or price creates 30-minute support from here, and then we take a trade to go back up so that the daily candle closes a doji. Those are the two options. But right now, we're at the bottom of the range. The range needs to break. The bottom of the range or the top of the range needs to break to take a trade. If you break above the high, then you can wait for price to pull back, create support, take a trade to go back up. If you break the low, which is below this candle low, if you break this low, then you can wait for price to pull back, create resistance, take a trade to come down, or wait for price to come here, create 30-minute support, and then take a trade to go back up. Unless that happens, I'm not doing anything. I'm just waiting. And I'm going to probably end the stream in about 5 minutes because there is no volume. Yeah, 2 minutes more for the candle to close. The closing bearish, and there's a wick for the next candle to trade into to come lower. It's possible. If you close with a wick like this below the uh, below the London low, or close at the London low with a wick to fill, then the next candle can create a top wick and come down and fill this wick and continue down. Yeah, we closed below the Asian low. Should continue down. All right. So I've explained the ideas. I've explained what I'm waiting for. I'm not doing anything unless price breaks below this liquidity candle low or breaks above this liquidity candle high. I'm not doing anything in this range. It's not worth it, right? I don't want to take sells. We got a liquidity candle there. There is not, the range is too tight. If you take buys here, then there is the weekly SR level. So if price comes up here, maybe I'll look to take a sell at these levels, 33, 35.5 or 33, 34. Around those levels, I'll look to take sells, right? Then there is space to move if we get there, right? So that's one idea. If it comes up here at these levels, at these top two green lines, I'll look to take sells, right? Above this first green line, above this first green line. If it comes here, I'll look to take sells, right? Stop loss above the liquidity candle high, look to take sells. About 50, 55 pip stop loss on the first trade, 40, 45, 40 pips on the second one, look to take trade to come down. The second idea is price needs to break below this low for price to pull back and wait for resistance to form, take sells to come further down, right? And if it's buys, then buys from down here, if you form 30-minute support and a 30-minute tradable back candle 30-minute tradable bull candle closes from here around this area, from this liquidity candle, or wait for price to break above this liquidity candle high, then pull back and then wait for support to form and take buys to go back up towards 3350, right? Those are the ideas. Four ideas, right? Two for sells, two for buys, right? Okay, still coming down. Let's see. We have a range to fill now, this week to be filled. So we could be coming further down. Let's see if we can come down, break 3312. If you break it, then we can get rid of this liquidity candle and maybe wait for a pullback to take the sells to come down, or wait for 30-minute support to form here and a tradable 30-minute bull candle close to take the buys to go back up so that the daily candle closes a doji. Right? That's the plan. All right. There's nothing much happening. It's a slow day. Keep in mind, this is the last week of the month, right? Friday, I anticipate there to be volume. I'm not going to force trades when I know that when I can see very clearly that there is low volume, EMAs are moving sideways. When there is low volume, I'm not very keen on looking to take trades, right? On Friday, I think we might have better volume because the weekly candle close. Anyway, let's come back tomorrow and see how the daily candle did close today, how it's going to close today. Okay, and let's see if any one of the trade setup ideas, whether they played out. Again, you can go back and listen to the trade ideas that I shared just now in the last couple of minutes, and then if they do play out the way I said it, you can look to take a trade. All right. Okay. See you guys tomorrow, 7:30 a.m. EST. We'll be back. Hopefully, we'll have a little bit more volume than today, and maybe we can take a trade in the first hour and a half or 2 hours of the NY Open. All right. Take care. See you tomorrow.